Today, we are going into the final fourth Trinity of the Ghost Points. This is where we are at the deepest layers inside of ourselves. We are now touching core trauma, things that were picked up in the womb, in your lineage, things that karmically bound to you in some way, like karmically, your responsibility to come here and transmute and transform things that have created some of the deepest layers of pain, suffering, and a disconnection from your true path. As we go into Trinity 4, we're now at the deepest layer. We are also in the deep unconscious. We are in the outer dimensions of your existence. So beyond just your 3D, 4D, 5D, we really get out into your multidimensional nature at this spectrum. The first point of Trinity 4 is called Ghost Hall. This point addresses intimacy. And I love this word intimacy when you break it down. It really says, into you I see, or into me I see. It is about our ability to truly see ourselves and to have a deep connection with yourself. So, real intimacy in your relationships, real intimacy in your friendships, being able to be vulnerable, to really truly let people in and see you accepting all parts of yourself. And I can speak from being in a relationship with true intimacy for the last 8 years of my life, where so many versions of myself that I didn't even know were available to me before this partnership were able to come up through our union, because I was able to access myself through feeling deep trust in my union and feeling deep trust in myself. As I learned how to trust myself through being in a safe environment, I got to meet deeper layers of myself. Intimacy first begins inside of yourself. This point helps us clarify and release any part of us that does not have access to our true self, any part that doesn't trust ourselves. Maybe the inner child in you doesn't trust your grown adult self. Maybe your grown adult self doesn't trust your future self or your inner child self. Maybe some part of you in another probability doesn't trust you right now. So it helps to restore trust within yourself. It helps you to access your true self, all the layers of yourself, so that you can heal and integrate and return to wholeness. Because that, to me, is a definition of healing. Healing is a return to wholeness. It is a return to holiness, inviting all parts of ourselves back and welcoming all parts of ourselves back to know that they are valued, to know that they are worthy of being seen, heard, and loved. Now, it also asks the question at this point, who has had access to your true self? If you have not had access to your true self, or if you've had limited access to your true self, then who has been accessing your true self? If you've had limited access to your soul, or to various chakras, or to various aspects of your energetic body, when you have true access to yourself, you also have true access to your body. This means your body is communicating its intelligence to you all the time. Your body is communicating what it needs to eat, what to read, where to go, how it wants to feel. If you get sick, your body is going to tell you what herbs to take, what supplements to take, what food to eat, what to cut out. Your body is constantly telling you everything that needs to be healthy, vital, and whole, because bodies are an incredibly advanced technology. And they know how to self-regulate, take care of themselves, return to homeostasis. It's when the mind gets in that everything gets all clouded. So if we don't have that connection to our true self, we lose access to a connection with our body. And if we don't have access, if our soul does not have access to our body, to the wisdom of it, who has that access? We can start to talk about collective energy vampires, right? Collective ghosts, things that are plaguing mass groups of people. One of them is this notion of being disconnected from your body, where you seek out something outside of yourself, like a doctor to give you a pill to tell you what to do with your body, They don't actually tell you what to do with your body. They just give you a pill and you blindly follow that advice, even if that pill has all these side effects, all these known potentials to cause a plethora of different health crises. People still blindly take that advice. Why do people do that? They are being fed off by collective ghosts that have taken people from having access to their own body. And these entities are then feeding off. What this point does, it's powerful because it's not only returning you to having true access to yourself, it is unplugging you from all the things that have been feeding off you when you have not had full access to yourself. It also will help to gain great clarity. This point is on your head. It helps you to trust your decision making again, to gain pristine clarity. It literally resolves physiologically, it can resolve vision issues and congestion and regain that access to a clear mind. And if we've seen anything in the last 72 hours, there are a lot of people who are really mentally unwell. They are in a state of horror and fear because of beliefs. They have not had access to themselves. So they are relying on everything outside of themselves to guide their decision making. And when that guidance doesn't go the way that they were told it was supposed to go, they now go into such an extreme state of fear. When you have access to your true self, it literally does not matter what is happening outside of you. It doesn't matter who's president. It doesn't matter who's your governor. It doesn't matter who is driving the bus. Because you have access to you, you will always know intuitively inside your bones what decisions you are meant to make for your highest and greatest good. And this point helps to clarify anything out, clear it out, dissolve it out, and return you to your true self. The next point in the final Trinity here is, in my experience, it's my favorite point to work with. I like to keep this one a mystery because it has so much energy involved in it. And I also was guided by Sensei Mao to facilitate it a little bit differently. But what I will say about this point is that it clears out all sexual trauma. It clears out all birth trauma. So that is you being born and mothers, any mothers having given birth to your own child. It clears out guilt and shame. That's what makes this point so powerful. Guilt and shame are two things that plague people and keep people from being their fullness, being their true self, being seen in this world. This point is also where all the ghosts come in and feed and eat and consume on our yin energy. And our yin energy is what we need to relax. It's what we need to heal. It's what we need to feel vital in our bodies. It's what we need to feel luscious and alive and orgasmic and pleasureful. It is the Shakti. It is the pleasure of life. It is the ability to move through life with ease, joy, and peace in our bodies. And that yin gets consumed by the ghosts, by traumas. It gets consumed in unconscious sexual experiences. It gets consumed. And for a lot of people, it can start at conception because this point is the first point of conception when you were conceived, not when you were born. This point is forming. So this point also clears out anything that you picked up when you were in your mother's womb. Was your mom sick? Was she stressed? Was she going through a divorce? Was she abused? Was she anxious? Was she eating toxic food? Was the environment around her harmful? What was happening when you were in your mother's womb deeply impacts your ability to feel connected in your yin energy, to feel able to relax, because we receive from the yin, we receive an ability to be at peace. We receive the ability to be nourished by life, to be nurtured. We receive the ability to heal. And if we were not getting that in the womb for whatever reason, we will come into this life yin deficient. And then we will start doing things because the ghosts start feeding on the yin that create more yin deficiency. This point is where the three most powerful yin channels of the body meet. During it, we do this powerful reclaiming of the feminine, of the yin. We call back all energy that has been depleted throughout space and time, generations, your lineage, your bloodline, and all different dimensions of your consciousness. We call all the yin back, and we cut off the cords from anything that has been feeding off your energetic field so that your body can start to heal, so that your body can start to be replenished and resourced and revitalized by life again, and to feel at ease, to feel joy, and to feel real, full body, orgasmic pleasure that is not determined by anything outside of yourself. Internal orgasmic pleasure can return to your body through this point. So the fourth Trinity is the only Trinity that has 4 points. The final Trinity has 4, which is why there's 13 points. The next point is Ghost Official, and this is really clearing out all of the artificial rules that you've picked up, all of the people in your life who have oppressed you, who have persuaded you into being someone that maybe was not who you were meant to be. If you had parents with really strong opinions, or teachers with really strong opinions, or a culture with really strong opinions, opinions are everywhere. When we don't have connection to ourselves, we are very easily persuaded by the voices and opinions of others. So this goes in and dissolves this reality of there being right and wrong and good and bad. It returns you back to be the true inner authority of your own values, your own morals, your own standards for what you will and won't allow into your life. It returns you to being the official of yourself. If there is any part of you that lacks willpower or lacks this capacity to go and do something amazing with your life, to succeed in your life, if you have felt marginalized, or if you have stories like, oh, I can't succeed because of X, Y, or Z, because of how I was raised, those stories are haunting you. They are stopping you from being who you've come here to be. We all have the potential to be anyone that we want to be. This point clears all that out and it allows you to take back control of your life, take back personal empowerment, make decisions, and have the willpower to take action to change your life, because you now know that you are worthy of what it is on your heart that you are here to do. The next point of this Trinity is the final point. And throughout the years, they've evolved it, because the original point, which is on the tongue, people had some challenges with. That was really just because of 2020 and people not wanting to touch people's mouths. What I like to do is actually activate both of the final points, the original one, because the original one helps to clear early childhood trauma, specifically with the mother. These don't have to necessarily be really big, obvious ones, like very clear and obvious trauma. It can be the rumination of her voice. It could be the way that she impacted who you were. Was she available or not? All these different things between you and your mother get cleared through this point. Personally, in my opinion, every mother who's wanting to become a mother, who is doing this work, if they clear out these points, they will not create these types of karmic chains with their children coming forward. This point is such a powerful one for any woman who wants to become a mother, and for any person on the planet who has a mother, which is everyone. Now, the mitochondrial Eve, we know that we are the byproducts of the mother, and the health of the mother, and the consciousness, and the mental health, the spiritual health, the physical health of the mother is so important to birth a healthy species. If we want to progress as a species, we need to start creating and nourishing the mother, not only the mother that physically gives birth to us, but the mother that's inside of us, the yin energy that's inside of us. The first point really clears out the trauma with the mother and the early childhood trauma, conception. The second point that we activate starts to clear adult issues. So adult trauma. So the first one is trauma from early on, your early part of life. And these could just be programs that were picked up, not necessarily traumatic experiences, just programs that made you see the world differently from how you actually want to see the world, or we're destined to see the world, or we're born to see the world. And then the second point helps address things that happen later in your life. That could be in your 20s, your 30s, it doesn't really matter. A divorce, a bankruptcy, an abusive partnership, domestic violence, the loss of a child, the loss of a partner, the loss of your parents. It helps to clear the really big things that happen later on in life. The spinal point actually has the capacity in Chinese medicine, we say, either take you, it can, at the one end of the spectrum, it has schizophrenia, and the other end of the spectrum, it has enlightenment, because schizophrenia and enlightenment are two sides of the same coin. One side, the ghosts have just taken over fully and caused the complete loss of access to the consciousness, to the soul having consciousness to the body. And in the other, the soul fully gains access to consciousness of the body and can become enlightened. So this final 13th point is really about that final piece that returns you to your true chi, to your true self, and what I call the return of your original innocence. Innocence is another word that I like to break apart, just like intimacy, because innocence says in no sense, right? The sensory information that we take in. We take in senses from the external world. So innocence basically is saying, I'm in no senses. I am in the pure internal experience that is my original innocence, my purity, that is not dictated by what my senses have perceived and internalized, right? It is the pure expression of who I am, irregardless of what is happening outside of me, irregardless of what I see happening in the world, of what I hear is happening in the world, of what I taste, what I smell, what I feel happening in the world. Your original innocence is you before all of the stories, imprints, ideas, beliefs, dogma, learning, teaching, and grow, everything that has been conditioned and taken in through one of your senses. Your original innocence allows you to be this antenna. It's like a frequency modulator in your nervous system. You intuitively sense and know what is in alignment with you, and you move towards it. You know what is not in alignment with you, and you move away from it. And you don't identify it as this is good and this is bad. You just keep flowing. You just keep flowing. There is no story in your original innocence. If we think about the children, this pure expression of a child that has not developed these higher brain waves yet, that has not been culturally programmed and gone through school and indoctrination, they just accept, they just love, they don't see separation, they don't see all these hurtful things and then identify them. If they fall down and get a bruise, they just get back up and keep moving forward. If they have anger, they just express it and then keep moving forward, right? They don't see any of it as good or bad or wrong until adults tell them that it is. And that indoctrination, that robbing of the original innocence begins very young in life. One of my teachers in rapid resolution therapy, Dr. John Connolly, says in his training, that indoctrination of robbing of the original innocence, creating a reality where people believe that they are either good or bad, begins at birth, begins the moment that you are going to take the breast and drink milk, and the mother says, oh, good girl, good boy, because you are able to drink the milk. And if you don't latch on, you don't get that good girl, you don't get that good boy. You only get it when you have latched on. So you get programmed to believe, I will only receive nourishment from life when I am good, based on what someone has told me is being a good girl or boy. We start losing touch with our original innocence because we now get conditioned to believe things about ourselves that are distorted by what the world outside of us has said. Maybe in that moment when you weren't sucking the teat, you just weren't thirsty, or you were trying to communicate something to your mother. It wasn't that you were bad and not worthy of nourishment. But this conditioning runs really deep, and it changes and alters who people are at their core. And the beauty and the power of this work is that it is designed to help souls evolve in bodies, to help souls find their place in the cosmos, to return to their original innocence, to their source code, to remember who they are, and to no longer be swayed by what's happening outside of themselves because they are so deeply anchored in who they are. That is what this world needs more than anything right now. People who are free from their trauma, free from the expectation. Their mind has been liberated of all of this programming, and they have compassion and connection to themselves and the capacity for deep intimacy and to support others to heal. And that's really what this work is about for me, as this isn't the only modality that I teach. I do a lot of things. I've been doing a lot of things for a really long time, both with myself and with the thousands of clients that I've worked with over the past 11 years. Doing this work for myself made me a better healer. It made me a better teacher. It just helped me to come more into my center. It helps me to hold a state of compassion for whatever someone's navigating through. It helped to call out my light and my presence, and to show up in moments that have been really challenging, and to realize who I am in all of it. And I think that all healers should go through this ultimately, because it's your body. These points are a part of you. It's about activating them to clear out what is not yours. And that's why I love this so much. Everything is in my body that I need to thrive here. And now we're just remembering that. So I'm going to wrap this up now, ending this Trinity 4 discussion. If you've not gone and watched the previous 3, so that you can really learn about the points and about how this works and why this is so valuable, you can learn more about doing this work with me. However you're watching this, you can find the link in the comments or in the description below. I'm also here to chat with anyone who wants to learn more, because we have until Saturday, until a week, to be joining this next container of these virtual ghost points. Sending you all so much love. I hope this has been valuable to help you make sense of this process and to discern whether it's correct for you to show up for it at this time in your life. Sending you all so much love, and I will see you all again soon. Bye, everyone.